Hello guys, my name is Solomon and welcome to another episode of my YouTube series called Being on the Apprentice. This is the third episode in the series and this one will focus on specific business lessons that I learned from being on the Apprentice. If there's one thing I can't deny from being on the Apprentice is that I learned a lot of crucial lessons both in life and in business. And these lessons were stemming from both the experience of being on the show, being on task, getting things done, and also from the other candidates as well. So without talking too much, let's get into the video. So the first crucial business lesson that I learned from being on the Apprentice is to make your voice heard. 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 Sorry if that was too much. Making yourself heard both on the Apprentice and business in general is very, very crucial, as I learned being on the show. If you have an idea or if you have something to say, it's very important that you voice your opinion and you make yourself heard. Because what that can do in a team or in a business is it can inspire ideas, it can make crucial changes that will lead to the making or the breaking of the project, it can start a domino effect of inspiration in the team, and most importantly, you will be seen as a key figure within that team or business. What I've noticed consistently from being in the boardroom is a lot of times you will get pointed out, not for being the loudest in the group, but for actually being the quietest in the group. A lot of time Lord Sugar will point to you and say, what did you do on this task? What have you said on this task? What did you contribute on this task? And a lot of times it's because you sat back and you didn't have a lot to say, or you didn't have a lot of engagement during the task. And thinking about it in business terms, and thinking about it in the world of business, your project, your venture, your product has to be out there and it has to be heard by your customers. If they don't know it exists, and if they don't know you exist, they're never going to buy into it. So that lesson for me, to make yourself heard, to put your point and your ideas out there, and to really make yourself stand out and known amongst the crowds is very, very key for being in the Apprentice, but most importantly, in the world of business. If you think about businesses that exist already, there are hundreds of music streaming apps, there are dozens of car riding apps, there are hundreds of social media platforms, but the market leaders, such as Spotify, Uber, and Facebook, are the ones that are the loudest and the ones that push themselves the most onto the global platform, so they're the ones that are going to get the most attention. So for you being a business person or being a candidate on the Apprentice, it's very, very vital to make yourself heard and to make yourself known. I'm thirsty. I've run out of juice. I'm thirsty and my juice is finished. Oh my god. The second crucial business lesson that I learned from being on the Apprentice is that nobody can be trusted. When you meet the candidates for the first time and there's a high morale, high spirit, everybody's happy and eager to be on the show, you think, you know what, I can get comfortable and I can make friends. And then you start to go on task and then you appear in the boardroom for the first time and you realize that actually these people that you thought were your friends are far from it. You start to realize that in business, not everybody can be trusted, not everybody is your friend, and not everybody wants you to prosper because they want to prosper. Everybody's in it for themselves, everybody wants praise, and nobody wants to get criticized, and they'll be more than happy to point the finger at you and to throw you under the bus to save themselves. And these are the same people that you were laughing and joking around, the same people that you were on the same team with, the same people that you were trying to win with, the same people you were trying to cross the finish line with, and at the end of the day, when it really comes to it, and everybody has to save themselves, they will happily throw you under the bus to save their own skin. And that's when I really learned that the stereotype that business is cutthroat is kind of true, Nobody can be trusted, not everybody is your friend. You have to really think about yourself and you have to be selfish when you're in business. And especially on the Apprentice, because everybody's trying to win that investment and everybody wants to be Lord Sugar's best friend. They will happily undermine you and undermine your performance in order to achieve that. A quote to take away from that, especially if you're going to apply for the show, is you have fans and critics. And on the show, everybody is 100% a critic, so you have to be 100% a fan of yourself. The third crucial business lesson that I learned from being on The Apprentice is that business is a sport. Now, I should have already known this from being an athlete myself, but a lot of times in life, it's not until you have the experience that you learn the lesson. And the lesson I learned is that business is just like sport. There are so many parallels and so many comparisons I can make from being both an athlete and a business person. The first one is competition. You know, when you're an athlete, it's all about competition. It's all about being number one. It's all about beating the competition. It's all about, you know, being the leader, and you want to be the brand that everybody comes to. You want to have all the customers. You want to be making profit every quarter. You want to wipe out the competition. You have to work on your product or project or service and build it up and make it better so your customers come back more and more and are more satisfied. You have to have future projections and predictions of where you want to be. There are metrics and measurements of performance to see how well you're doing or how not so well you're doing. There are rankings and leaderboards and comparisons. It's a you versus them mentality. You have to constantly keep your eye on the ball, or else you're going to lose track of what's going on, and you know, you're not going to be selling as many products, and you're not going to be refining and reinventing yourself. So there's a lot of comparisons and crossovers between business and sport. But one thing I will say from having experience in both industries is that sport is definitely much easier than business, because sport, you really just focus on yourself and you focus on your training and your development, and you take yourself to the competition and you try and do the best you can and you come back and do better next time. But with business, there's a whole different factor to think about, and that is the market and your customers, because you can't predict what they're going to do, and you can't predict, you know, whether they like your product or not until you bring it out and you test it, and you can't force them to like it, and you can't make a business automatically start generating profit, and there's just so much uncertainty, and depending on what the laws and criteria are of your industry and what the market decides to do, and the fluctuation of inflation and tax. So there are so many holes and uncertainties in business which you can't really predict, whereas in sport, you know you can make yourself the best you can be and perform at a high level. There are a lot of crossovers between business and sport, but I definitely say sport is a lot easier than business if you put the work in. The fourth and final crucial business lesson that I learned on being on The Apprentice is that you have to believe in yourself. When you're on the show or when you're trying to execute a business plan, no one's going to believe in you, because it's a new thing, it's a new venture, it's a new idea. And whether it's a business model that's been proven before or not, there's no certainty with it. Lord Sugar isn't going to look at your business plan and say it's 100% going to work or not. A business advisor could look at your business plan and tell you roughly whether it is a good idea or not, whether your future predictions and your profit kind of add up. Being on the show and having lots of competition and trying to make your idea sound better than someone else's. On the foundation of it all, you really have to believe in yourself and your idea. In order to be able to sell it to Lord Sugar and to be able to sell it to an audience, or to be able to sell it to your customers, you have to believe in the idea. You have to believe in yourself and your ability to be able to deliver it and execute it at a high level. A lot of times people don't believe in the product, they believe in the message and the brand and the person behind the brand. For example, with Apple, yes, their products are amazing, yes, it does incredible things, but Steve Jobs, when he was the CEO, sold it at a greater level. He said to the customers, this is going to change your life. Our technology is groundbreaking. Our technology is going to change your life. Our technology is going to enhance your creativity. It's going to make you a better version of yourself. And that's what people bought into when it came to Apple. You know, you buy into Nike because you feel like you're going to be a better athlete, or you're going to look nicer in their attire. You buy into expensive brands because you want to look like you can afford this and you're living that kind of lifestyle. Whatever reason, you know, you choose to buy into a brand, it's that idea and that belief that that brand is delivering what they say they're going to deliver. And so it's the same with you, whether you're in The Apprentice or whether you're trying to execute a business. You have to believe in yourself and you have to believe in your idea, because belief is the only thing someone can hold on to when you give them a business idea. You have to show them your passion and your conviction and your certainty that the business you're presenting them is going to work. So those are my 4 crucial business lessons that I learned from being on The Apprentice. Make sure that your voice is heard and that people know exactly what you're there for and what you stand for. No one can be trusted, whether on The Apprentice or whether in real life business. Business is a sport, you know, there's competition, there's metrics to be measured, you want to perform at a high level and you want to beat the competition. If you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with the last episode of Being on The Apprentice. Ciao!